Welcome to Startup TV Boston. I'm Michael McCarthy, and we're coming to you live from Beijing, China. And I'd like to welcome my guest from the United Kingdom, a startup called QuickMilk. Lucas, welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself, what you do, and your team.
Hi, so I'm Lucas. We all go to school at Eton College, and my role in the company, I'm in charge of the branding and marketing side of it. So that's mostly looking at social media, sort of creating social media platforms, and also looking at the ways to make our idea more widespread.
So I'm Matthew, and I'm in charge of business development. So I'm looking at kind of our strategy and how our business runs, and I'm working very closely with Alfred and Lucas to achieve that.
Hi, I'm Alfred, and I'm working towards building the product. So how the user experience is going to be, and how the app is going to look, and what it's going to do.
Great, welcome to the show, guys. And can you tell us a little bit about what is QuickMilk?
So QuickMilk is an app which is designed to connect students within an area to allow them to deliver items from the shop for each other. So if a student needs something from the shop, they just put it on the app, and then another student who's already at the shop and who maybe lives near them can then deliver it for them for a small fee on their way home.
Excellent. And tell me about the name. Where did the name QuickMilk come from?
So we were sort of brainstorming ideas for the name. We had a bunch of keywords on a whiteboard, so quick, milk, like fast, speed, so a bunch of similar words, and we sort of connected a lot of them, and then QuickMilk sounded like the best one.
Well, it certainly generates a question. You got me to ask. So tell me about the idea. Where did the idea actually come from? Where did it start?
So actually, we were sitting in our local milkshake shop, Tudors, and we were a bit frustrated because we love getting stuff going to the high street, and obviously we need to buy, since we're in a boarding school, we need to buy groceries. And we kind of thought, well, you know, when we were at sport, it'd be kind of something, it would be kind of nice for other people to be able to drop stuff off when we don't have time. And also when we're at the shops, I wouldn't mind picking something up for my friends if I made like a little bit of extra money for it. So it was kind of something that we just wanted for ourselves. And so we kind of turned it into an idea. Yeah.
Excellent. And so this came through LaunchX. And could you share with us what LaunchX is and what it does for high school students?
So LaunchX is a competition in Massachusetts, which is designed to encourage people to start their own businesses, students to start their own businesses. So we heard about it from some students in the year above at our school who were running a competition, and every year the school enters 4 or 5 teams for this competition. So we heard about it and we thought we would give it a go as well.
And with the competitions, how did you guys do on the campus level and then at the MIT level? Can you tell us about any competitions that you won within the organization?
Yeah, so with MIT, it was sort of a 6-month-ish process. So we sort of submitted pitches and sort of other sort of financial projections and other charts. And so with that, we got to the global final in Boston. But unfortunately, it clashed with one of our exams, so we couldn't go to that. But also in school, sort of internally, we did another prize sort of with a similar scope, like an entrepreneurship prize, but just for the school. And we won that, which was great.
Congratulations. So I believe you guys have a startup pitch deck. Could you do a share screen and give us your presentation? We'd love to hear more.
Okay, right. So as you can see, the basic idea, the outline, in other words, for QuickMilk, is an app which connects students to each other without any sort of external riders or anything, which allows them to deliver for each other when they don't have time to go to the shops, sort of drop off things on their way back home. So I'm going to pass over to Matthew to talk about
So as students ourselves at a boarding school, we've found a number of problems with existing delivery options. So a lot of them aren't very affordable. For example, Ocado, which is a very popular delivery company in the UK, you need to have a minimum order of about £45, and then in addition you have to pay an extra delivery fee. And for students, that's not really affordable. And also another key thing is the speed. Often when you're a student, you might want something very short notice. Maybe you want a drink, or you need a pen or something like that. And a day is too long, so you might want it in 20 to 30 minutes. So we think that by getting other students on the platform who are already at the shops, we can solve these problems.
So our target customer is this busy university student who doesn't have time to go to the shops. And since university students often live near to each other, it's very easy for them to deliver to each other on their way home. So on one hand, they don't have much income, so they'll be happy to earn a little bit of money on the side by delivering for someone else. But on the other hand, they're also quite time pressured. So when they don't have time, they need someone else to deliver it for them.
Yeah, so as you can see in this little quick chart, as mentioned by Matthew, one of the big problems is sort of how expensive delivery is. And that's one of the key reasons why we created QuickMilk, just because basically all competitors offer either like a really expensive delivery, or the food itself is already, like the price is already inflated. So I'm going to hand over to Alfred to talk about our surveys and the mock-ups that we did.
So here's a mock-up of our idea. So it shows you how it works. So on the left side, you see you choose a shop which you want to buy items from. And then in the middle, you choose what items you're going to buy from that shop. And then on the right, you choose when you need it by. And based on the number of items and how long you need it, you can have before it needs to be delivered, you can set a delivery fee. And then you can order it. So we conducted some market research amongst students in our school. And we found that 90% already use delivery services, but 80% say that they found that time restricted their ability to go to the shops. And many said that they forgot groceries at least once per week. So we then created a functioning MVP to test our idea out. So you can see that you can set up an account and then post requests for items. And another person can accept that request and deliver it. So this is a basic MVP, but we tested it amongst around 10 people. And they said they really found it convenient and it helped their shopping experience. So the next step will be for us to create a full app which processes payments and has geolocation and notifications based on that.
So taking a look at our sort of closest competition, Ocado it's a sort of main grocery delivery service in the UK, used mostly by families, and it's sort of used for your weekly shop. So it's not great for if you forget something or if you just need one thing. As you can see on the chart, the actual delivery fee is quite expensive. The delivery, you have to schedule it for a few days ahead, and it doesn't really help the community because it's not sort of neighbors or students connecting with each other. Deliveroo is another really popular service. We use it quite frequently for restaurant food on Saturday nights, but it only does restaurant food, and the fee itself is quite expensive as well. And QuickUp is a recent startup based in London, which sort of hires riders to do like custom deliveries. So they really deliver anything you want. If you forget something at the gym, or if you just need like a specific item from the shop, they'll do that. But the problem is that they employ riders, so their fees are really expensive. And as with Ocado, they don't really connect students or neighbors with each other. Whereas QuickMilk, it's quite affordable because you set the delivery fee. It's immediate because it's someone sort of on their way back home dropping off their items. It's got wide range of items because you can go to any shop and it connects neighbors and students to each other, so it helps the community. So I'm going to hand over to Matthew to talk about our business model.
So the way we monetize our idea is that we take 10 to 20% of the delivery fee. So if the delivery fee was a couple pounds, we take a small fraction of that. And in the future, what we'd like to do is allow shops to promote their brand throughout our app, offering deals, and then advertising their brand in a more prominent position. And we think this is how we can make additional revenue once our idea is spread. And the next steps for us as a company would be to establish our company at our school, then maybe branch out to some different universities, get a presence on social media. And then once we've built up our reputation and our brand, then we think we could expand to major towns and cities, and not just connect students, but also just neighbors in all sorts of different places. Yeah.
Great, so that's the end of our presentation. I'll just exit the share screen here. And there we go.
Okay, beautiful, nice job. Thank you guys, I really appreciate that. And so now in the few minutes that we have left in the show, this ends up being the funnest part of it, where we get into some of your current challenges and how you want to fix those. Are there any items in your startup right now that you're losing sleep over?
So I think our biggest problem is getting a critical mass of users. So once we have thousands of users, there will be very quick delivery. So at any point, you can expect that one of the users will be at the shop and they can quickly deliver it on their way home. But when we're starting out with maybe 10 or 50 users, it's very unlikely that they will be at the shop. And so the app won't work very well until we reach a certain number of users. So our biggest problem is, how do we get people to start using our app so it will work well for them in the future, even though at that point it might not work as well as it should.
Okay, so here's what I would do. Do you guys know Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule? Have you heard of that one yet? So basically, for the studio audience, the 80-20 rule is a phenomenon that seems to happen around the world. It's happened for years, that we typically will spend 80% of our time only using 20% of the rooms in our houses. We will wear we'll take 20% of our wardrobe and wear it 80% of the time. So there's a bulk of time. And what I would probably do is take a look at your school and what is the most popular store that everyone goes to. So let's say it's the grocery store. I would go to the shopkeeper and ask them for the 80-20 rule on when people are in the shop. At what time do you get most of your traffic? So it's probably not going to be at 6 o'clock in the morning. If it's a college, I'm guessing it's probably going to be really busy, in the later times when everyone has the munchies. So let's say 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. I would have one of you guys always at the store during the busy time to be the delivery person. So you would actually be staffing it during that time. You could also, so that would take care of it, making it look like there's someone always there, like, oh my God, whenever I need something, there always happens to be someone there. Another thing that you could do is you might start generating enough money where you could get an intern to stay at the store for, let's say, an hour and be the delivery person. So someone does the 10 to 11 shift and someone else does 11 to 12. You could also potentially ask the shopkeeper, would you pay for a delivery person at maybe just a low rate? Perhaps you would let that person who works for the hour to be the delivery person, that whatever they want to shop for themselves, they would get half off, which is basically the shopkeeper isn't paying a wage, but they're basically selling something at cost. All they're doing is getting rid of inventory. So it's not going to cost them anything to have that delivery person. So I think that would probably be just the quick and dirty way that I would start it, just so people kind of realize, oh, okay, that the app works at the time that I want it. Also, middle of the night, during munchie time, some of these people might be so drunk they don't mind paying a heavy delivery fee because they just want their cigarettes or whatever you're going to deliver. So I try to be realistic. That's what I'm thinking. Does that help?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And what else is keeping you guys up at night?
One of our main concerns is actually building the app itself, because we know a little bit about coding, but we're not experts, and hiring a coder, we're a bit like worried about how that would go and how much we're gonna have to pay and the results. So like in terms of technicality, that's pretty high on our list right now. So we're not really sure.
So you need a good coder and you don't have a lot of money?
Yeah.
Okay. And you go to Eton College?
Yeah.
Are there any classes at Eton College that teach programming classes?
There are a few. I think their ability is limited. There may be a couple of people who can code to the level that we need.
Okay, I would find, so it doesn't sound like Eton College is going to be the place for the technology. I would be inclined to, well, LaunchX was born at MIT, and when I started with LaunchX, it was MIT LaunchX. I was one of the first mentors there. My thought would be to contact the MIT Media Lab and hold a contest and say, we'll pay $1,000, we'll sponsor a hackathon. So you would give a $1,000 winner-take-all hackathon at MIT and tell them, you have to make this app, you have to make it work, you have 36 hours to do it, and whoever gets this thing to function with the criteria that you give it, and whoever has the first working version delivered to you is going to get the $1,000. And that's probably going to be the cheapest programming money you're going to get. That's my one thought. That would be the cheap way to do it. And MIT is pretty good with this stuff. The second thing that I would do is that in the summertime, a lot of the MIT students are still around campus. And from what I heard on the grapevine, that they will work for around $50 an hour. So you might be able to hire someone who would do it for you. But I've had 7 startups, and I just love free. Because, yeah, free's great. You could go to a professor at a college where you felt that they did good programming, let's say MIT, but you might need some other colleges. Contact the professors who are teaching the courses and just say, look, we're high school students. We just got into college. We're 17 years old, and we did this MIT LaunchX. We really want to have this project work. We have no money. We were wondering if we could do something for mutual benefit. Would you allow this app to be a case study in your class and have the students actually try to make it work? And would you be willing to, what would you want from me to be able to make this an assigned project? And the fact that you're high school students, and you tend to get people just wanting to try to help you out because people like to encourage entrepreneurship at a young age. So you might find, because of your age, you're going to get a lot more people saying yes to you than someone like me. They might look at me and be like, you don't look like you can't afford a programmer. So like, but stop being so cheap. So I think that you guys might be able to do that. But I would probably start with the hackathon first, because that could be fun. Hackathons are a lot of fun. If you haven't been to them before, I'd encourage you to go. And yeah, that's probably how I would do it. I would take one of those 3 ideas. I'd start with a hackathon and then maybe see if someone would make it a case study for you in a class. Good?
Thank you. That's
Sure.
good.
Okay, these are fun. I'm enjoying them. Okay, so we have about 8 minutes left in the show. What's another challenge that you're having?
Okay, so I think possibly another challenge would be, once we sort of launched and we've got an app, obviously, to launch in new universities and towns and things, how to sort of raise awareness about the app and sort of spread the word before it launches, so that when it does launch in like new schools or new towns, and there will be already a lot of people interested in, a lot of people who will be willing to sort of go to the shop and who will be already registered with the app, so that the app works immediately.
Okay, so you're looking for the scaling. How do we scale this thing and get people to like it, to go
Yeah.
beyond? Okay. Well, first off, I'm also the instructor at Harvard University teaching entrepreneurship and innovation. And one thing that I teach the students is your business is either going to be a want or a need. And if it's more of a need, you're going to have a better shot at staying in business and growing. And right now, I love your idea. I think it's a really cool idea, but it's a want. So right now, people want to have their milk quickly. They don't want to run to the store. They want their packet of cigarettes or whatever they want from the store. Now that's a want, but let's think about a need. What if I need medicine? I just got out of the hospital. I broke my leg. I'm sitting at home. I have a prescription to fill. My painkillers need to be refilled. I need that filled. So I'm thinking that you take this platform and you bring it to a pharmacy. And I think then you'd be able to afford to have a person staying at the pharmacy, like a delivery person for the pharmacy. And each person who is a customer at the pharmacy, you could go to the pharmacist. I would start with a local person, not a chain, because you're going to get into bureaucracy. But let's say you go to a small shop and say, hey, listen, we know that the big chains are eating your lunch, and we want to keep you in the community. So what we would like to do is give you a free delivery service. We don't want to know the identity of your customers because there's HIPAA compliance. That's the privacy compliance in the United States. So there's probably some kind of medical privacy in the UK as well. But you say you could contact your customers and say, by the way, if you need someone to deliver medicine, here's an app. So you can anonymize who the person is. The order can come into the pharmacy and charge them a delivery fee. And you can make it an expensive delivery fee. If I'm in pain and I need my OxyContin, I'll pay 10, 20, 30 pounds for that. So it doesn't have to be a freebie thing. But I would think about, who really needs to have something delivered. They would pay a lot of money for it because they need it and they can't get to it. So I'm thinking people who are sick, someone just got out of the hospital, elderly people. Maybe there's lazy people. Another thing is, I know like when I've been camping in the woods, we would send some person off to the store. And it isn't until they left that someone remembers, oh my God, we forgot to tell them to get toilet paper, and you can't get a hold of them. So you could do something like, where would people want to have this? So like camping sites, I know they might have an internet connection challenge, but on sailboats, I sail, and the minute someone leaves the boat and gets into the dinghy and goes to shore, you could have I could see you doing this at marinas, because to get into a dinghy and go to shore is like a big deal. It's like a whole outing. So I could see doing this in marinas. I could see doing it in pharmacies. And so I would focus on where people would need it, and they would want to pay a lot of money for it because it's really inconvenient to do it on their own. And I would think about being bought out. I think that's where the big money is, because what you have is a platform. I don't think it really matters. The business that you start with is not the business that you make money with. So you probably learned that one already at LaunchX, that this is probably your, second or third iteration of the original idea, and it's probably going to change a few more times. But I'm thinking that you could probably focus on people who have money and people who would need the service. So people who have money and need the service, I'm thinking would be wealthier, older people who need medicine. I think that's a pretty easy one. But I think you could also hold brainstorming parties at your dorm and ask people, kind of like if you gamify it, you'll probably get some really cool ideas of who else besides the pharmacy idea would need to do this or want to do this. And rich people tend to be pretty lazy. I could see you going to a, like the office building that I work in Beijing. It's the most expensive office building in Beijing. It's a beautiful place. And people are wealthy and they're lazy. And it takes a lot of time to go from the top floor down to the bottom. And then you have to do the card thing to get out of the facility. And then you have to go down 2 more floors to get into your car. So it actually takes a while to get out of there. I could absolutely see people saying, I would love a latte. Just like click. So I could see doing this at coffee shops that are near expensive buildings. I think lawyers and bankers, they probably make the most money. They would probably spend money to do like coffee delivery. Because you know when they have clients that come into the office, they always say, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" It might be really easy for them to whip out the phone and say, you know, I can order you Starbucks or whatever the popular coffee is going to be in that area. And the delivery fee would be enough where you could have someone at the coffee shop at all times just running up and down. So I'm thinking that's how you would make money, would be selling the platform. Good?
That sounds good.
Okay, so we have about 2 minutes left. Are there any other challenges, or are there any, I'll just ask that, are there any other challenges that are on your mind right now?
So I think one of our problems is our business model is to take 10 to 20% of the delivery fee. And so that means that the delivery fee is not very high, but our cut is even smaller. And so one way that we avoid that is by advertising, or the business is advertising. But could we look at other ways of making money out of this?
Well, I used to own a money management firm on Wall Street, and we did a percentage of assets. You could do a 1% of the total fee of what you're picking up. So if someone bought 100 pounds worth of stuff, you would get 1% of that. If someone was with a minimum, so let's say that it would be 2% up to 50 pounds and then 1% above 50 pounds. So you're getting a percentage of the dollars that they spend. And with that, if I'm spending a lot of money on something, I probably don't mind 1 or 2%. If I'm spending a small amount of money, then you'll have to have the minimum fee coming in, which could be, I don't know, 2-3 pounds, something like that. But I would pick a number that makes you feel like you're making money at it, that you feel comfortable with it. Another model you could consider, so I would just say if you don't think you're making enough money on the 10 to 20%, raise the price. And if you're doing a need, people will pay for it. But you could also look at other models and do A/B testing. So you could take this delivery thing, this delivery idea on one shop. On another shop, you could maybe do something like, we're going to charge you $100 a month to have the app connected to your store. We'll completely support the technology. And you guys can do whatever you want for delivery fees. You can take whatever percentages you want, and it could be another way to make money and increase sales. And then you know that you're getting a constant $50, 50 pounds a month or whatever it is. And now you're just a pure tech company just doing software support. You're out of the delivery business, and now you're a pure platform business. So I would probably test out those two individually and see which one of these would work better for you. But see how that goes.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right, so we're at the end of our show, and is there any final thought that you would like to leave with the studio audience to help us remember QuickMilk? Any final thoughts?
Well, we will deliver things quickly, cheaply, and easily. And this is where the future is going. Amazon's trying to do it. Every delivery company is trying to do it. And this is our solution to it.
Excellent. And in our last few seconds, can you tell us what your website URL is?
It is, well, it's still a Wix site, but it's quickmilkteam.wixsite.com.
Excellent. Beautiful, guys. Thank you so much.
Follow us on Instagram at QuickMilkTeam as well. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. So I will see you next time, and we'd love to re-interview you 12 months from now and check in to see how you're doing.
Brilliant.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.